Warning, today's episode may include some unpopular opinions. We're going to be discussing what $32,000 for transgender comic books in Peru and your business have in common. Hey, lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Boltz. I'm an attorney and founder of Boltz Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Boltz, owner of Boltz Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done. The United States House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Brian Mast recently released a video where he disclosed some expenses that our federal government had been contributing to. The first one was $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities.
Yeah, there was another report that he made where $70,000 was spent for a production of a diversity, equity, and inclusion musical in Ireland.
$2.5 million was for electric vehicle charging stations in Vietnam.
$47,000 was utilized for a transgender opera in Colombia.
And $32,000 was sent to Peru for a transgender comic book.
In addition, it was also reported that $2 million was used for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala.
And $6 million was given to Egypt to fund tourism.
It was also reported that funding was used to print personalized contraceptive birth control devices in developing countries.
And finally, hundreds of millions of dollars was sent to Afghanistan to fund irrigation canals and farming equipment to support poppy cultivation and heroin production.
And the reason that we're bringing these topics to mind is just like with the government, it's kind of ran like a business. You have money coming in, you have money going out, and with your business, it's very similar in that regard. So being aware of what's being spent and what money is going where is something that everybody, if you're a small business owner, should be aware of and to be able to keep that top of mind.
Have you ever gone onto your bank account and realized, what? I'm still being charged for that?
Yes.
You know,
you
like
forgot to cancel the subscription.
A massage membership from like 6 years ago that you haven't used or whatever. Like that can happen. And so we have to be diligent about looking at where we're spending our money and also be strategic on how we prioritize sponsorships and investments. I know for me, when people ask me to contribute to a sponsorship, I genuinely want to contribute to them all. And for a long time I did. Every single time someone would ask me to donate to a sports team or a school project or whatever it may be, I always said yes. But over the course of time, I just got to a place that there were too many and I couldn't do that all the time. And so we're going to tell you a great way to say no to some of those possibilities and opportunities, but also kind of tell you which ones you should be prioritizing.
I love that. It's a great, it's good to have this tool, because I know for me it's hard to say no, especially if it's something where like my children are involved in, or it's something that I feel like ownership of, that I need to commit to, but I know that the return on investment isn't going to be there. It's difficult. So what's a great way to say no?
So a great way to say no is saying, thank you for presenting this opportunity to me. My sponsorship budget is already finalized for the year and is fully committed. If you would like us to consider it for next year, please reach out in October or November of this year, and we can consider it for next year's budget. But this year's budget is already fully committed.
That is perfectly stated. It couldn't be stated any better, because it doesn't let the person down. It's a very logical response, and it doesn't offend them in any way.
And it's true. I mean, I look at these things at the beginning of the year or the end of the preceding year on which kind of things do I want to prioritize for next year. And then anything that comes up along the way is really going beyond that budget. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a whole budget plan for the year and plan on certain things costing certain amounts. And if I deviate from that, it's going to affect the whole budget. So it's a great way to say no in a way that hopefully won't offend them, and that they can understand and can still keep you in line with your objectives.
So what are some top sponsorship opportunities that you recommend?
Anything that gives you an opportunity to speak in front of the audience is going to be the top priority. I've spent a lot on occasion for a sponsorship when they gave me the opportunity to speak in front of a whole audience of doctors, because that was my key target audience, and it's not often that you get that opportunity. And so I paid for a sponsorship to get that opportunity to present to a room full of doctors. Not all of them need to be that expensive, and in retrospect, I probably paid too much. I don't know if I would do that again, but anything that gives you the opportunity to speak in front of the audience, if it's a reasonable price compared to the audience that you're getting in front of, then that's top priority, in my opinion.
Absolutely. What are some other sponsorship opportunities that you recommend?
So the banners that go up in the community parks, and they're there all year round. I think we have a prior episode where I recommended against doing these things when you're in the lower budget category, but I think I've changed my opinion on that, because over the course of time, more and more people have commented on seeing my banners in the community, and I now think that they are really useful because of how inexpensive they are and the number of eyeballs that they see. So in my city, it's, I think, about $300 to have a banner in a city park for the whole year. So $300 for the year. And that is just about as inexpensive as you can find anything. And a lot of people go to these parks. They hang it in the gym of the community recreation center. So I've had people send me pictures when they're watching their kids' volleyball game saying, I see your banner hanging here. People who go to the park with their kids, people who play pickleball. I have a banner in every city park in Oviedo. And for $300 for the year, it's per park. It's just a low expense, and I get a lot of people telling me they've seen it. So I think that when you look at return on investment and brand building, and because it's community centered, I think it sends a good message that you're investing in the community, that you're a grassroots organization, and that it just gets a lot of eyeballs for the people who live in the area that you're promoting yourself. Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple, Spotify, and Google My Business are the best platforms to write a review.
2, follow us on social media. Our handle is @MissBizPodcast.
3, join our Facebook group, Miss Biz Nation, for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage. Also, ask questions related to your business and discuss topics from our episodes. In addition to banners, having a booth at an event can be something that can really set your business apart, because then you're not just another attendee there mingling with everybody. You have attention that is instantly drawn to you, and you have the opportunity to really make an impact with your booth if it's done correctly.
So I put the booth as kind of third in priority, because the thing I like about the banners is it's there the whole year. The booth is a one-time event. And the banners are no manpower on your part required. It's you hang it one time and done. The booth is, you got to be there. You got to plan for it. You got to do a lot to make it effective. But it can be effective if you choose the right events. Mm-hmm. So you want to choose the events that have the right audience that you want to meet. You have to plan and strategize. You have to have the giveaway. You have to collect the email addresses. You have to do all the things that we talk about in our Dream Hack episode. But it can be very effective, and can be the booth itself. Sometimes you can get for like $50. Like they can be pretty inexpensive. But by the time you do all the things to man the booth and decorate the booth and have the giveaways and all of that stuff, it can add up in price. But it is a good way to make an impression on a good amount of people in one day.
You also have charity on the list. So I know that I love giving to charity because it's a write-off that I can make, so that not only am I helping my business out at the end of the year, but I'm also making an impact is something that's helpful. Why would you consider this a top priority sponsorship?
I've always valued charity, but I never fully understood the impact it could have on your business until I heard the story of a lawyer in California who created a charity where he would give soccer cleats to underprivileged children, and how his business tripled when he did that.
That's awesome.
And I suddenly realized that giving to charity in a strategic way can have a massive impact on the growth of your business. So that is another top priority sponsorship when you're looking at all the other. Now choosing a charity that is aligned with your brand, with your goals, with your target audience, all those things is important, and doing it in a meaningful way is where hopefully people have a direct benefit from that charitable giving, kind of like the soccer cleats, versus just dumping a bunch of money to Red Cross where it doesn't have that direct community impact. I think the ones where you're volunteering in the soup kitchen, you're giving to Angel Tree gifting for foster care children, those kind of things that have an immediate and direct and visible impact on the community, I think are going to be the highest visibility and benefit to your firm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's going to enhance your reputation, and it's going to show alignment with your company's core values, which often speaks more loudly than anything that you could ever say in a commercial or anything of that nature.
Another sponsorship opportunity that I think is in the top priority tier, but a little further down the list, are the educational sponsorships, the ones with the school programs, the scholarships, student competitions, those kind of things. Just being visible in the community, at the community level in the school system, I think is good, especially if you have children who are school age. Investing in their particular school and their particular programs, I think can go a long way, because that's where you are. That's where you have the opportunity to meet other families and have your presence make and your gift make the biggest impact on your business.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just sponsored a 5K at the girls' school for Miss Biz, and we're getting ready to do that. But last year, I mean, people instantly recognized me. You weren't with me, but they instantly recognized me. They said hi to me. I don't know if we got any listeners out of there, but it's the same for your business. If you have the opportunity to sponsor something like that, and even if they put your name on or your logo on a t-shirt, if one of the parents is in need of your services, they're going to probably want to connect with you if they have a need and they see that you do this and you supported their school.
Right. And just another connection point. Our kids go to the same school.
Yeah.
And you have more in common. You can talk about the teachers, the programs, all the things going on with the school. I've learned in this last year through creating a Facebook group and doing some events for the moms at my school, how it's a really great way to build connections and relationships in the places that you already are, which is the school. Same with the local sports teams. If your children play sports particularly, but I get asked by sports that my kids don't play to sponsor those teams. And for me, I look at, I like the fact that it's one and done. I like the fact that it's usually fairly inexpensive. If it's fairly inexpensive and they give options and I can do one of the more lower expensive options, then sometimes I'll do it still. But I prefer if it's going to be like a banner of my own that's going to be up for the whole year versus just my name along with 20 other names on the back of a t-shirt. I do those too. I've done them too, but just when you're looking at where is the best return, I think if you have some individualized logo on a banner or something versus a bunch of names on a banner, that's going to be more, make a bigger impression than just putting your logo along with a bunch of others.
Right. So some of the mid-priority sponsorship opportunities include community fairs and festivals. This provides exposure but may not always target the right audience. It's best if your service benefits from broad community awareness. The one problem I've seen with this by working different events is sometimes, especially if they were very, very large, even if it is a good audience for you, if there are 500 people with booths, essentially right next to you, then a lot of times people are just going to the booths, getting the free stuff, and then going home. So there's not really too much of an impact. But I will say that I had worked an event for you one year that was very, very big, and we gave out the Bolts Legal hats and hoodies and all of that. And someone years later told me, hey, I don't know how we got this, but we have a Bolts Legal hat in our closet. And I was like, that must have been at that one event. So it did obviously make some type of impression because she immediately recognized the last name. But it can be a lot more challenging because there are so many other people there. There's so many different things going on. It can be hard to stand out.
So contrasting this with what we put in the higher priority sponsorships was the trade or profession specific or industry specific conferences. So those I think are in the higher category because for example, I mentioned the one I spoke at for doctors. That you've got a room full of your target market. But at the community events, it's just whoever happens to live in the area and shows up. So you may not meet many people that you're really wanting to meet. You're going to create brand awareness, possibly, if they take the time to sit and really look at what you're offering, right. Or they may just rush by, grab your free thing and keep going.
Yeah.
So that's why I put this in the mid-priority sponsorship. If you have a business that's like baking cupcakes, then this is where you want to be, is the community fairs and festivals. But as a law firm, it's really just about people in the community learning who I am, brand awareness. It still has some benefit, but it's a lot of time investment to do it well. It can be a decent financial investment. The booth itself won't be, but the giveaways and all that. I mean, the hats, if someone's just got it, that makes me cringe a little bit if it's just sitting in their closet, because those hats are Under Armour brand and they're expensive. And so, I mean, thankfully they recognized us, but you know, when we were just giving away these expensive things to everybody who walked by, I think we could have been a little more strategic about it and saved some money and gave it to people who were going to use it the most.
Right. Finding guests for a podcast can be difficult sometimes, so Brooke and I wanted to let you guys know that we are available to appear on your podcast.
We also enjoy speaking at events, so if you have an event coming up, these jingles can go on the road.
Simply go to missbiz.com/contact and in the subject line, write podcast guest or event speaker, and we'll reach out to you to further coordinate. So another mid-priority sponsorship would be nonprofit fundraisers outside of your industry. So this can be good if you have the budget to be able to give back. It also looks good on paper and is a good representation of your business, but it may not necessarily translate to getting new clients.
Yeah. People may not put two and two together with who you are outside of just being the fundraiser coordinator.
Or it may just be the wrong people in general. So, for example, I had a very nice woman ask me to donate a website for her. And she said that she would put, my logo and contact information and put me down as a sponsor on the website. But for me, it wasn't, even though I really appreciated everything that they did, a website is a big expense, and the individuals who would be going to the website are generally going to be people that are either a lot older or are very, very sick. So for my business in particular, it really wouldn't have been the best choice to give away a full website when, I still have to pay all of my team. We have operating expenses. So.
Right. So an example of this, a nonprofit fundraiser in one of our former Miss Biz guests was Bill Umansky. He sponsors a poker tournament through the Rotary Club that raises money every year. So he is passionate about that fundraiser, but I'd have to ask him, but I think he would say that it probably doesn't raise a lot of awareness about his law firm as part of participating in that fundraiser. It's a fantastic fundraiser. I've attended it. It's full to the max. They raise a lot of money, but I don't know that it benefits his law firm directly. And not to say that that's even what he's trying to do, but when it comes to looking at it from a business standpoint, this is not going to be the highest tier return on investment.
Yeah, and I mean, it may be that your company is doing very, very well. So doing something that is a mid or a lower priority might not be that big of a deal for you because you have excess money and, you're looking at as many exposure points as possible, and that's fine too. But if you aren't being strategic about it and you are trying to increase your revenue, cut back on expenses, then it's good to be kind of aware and conscientious of these details.
Next is, and then we're still in the mid-tier here, are some of the school clubs or programs that are one-offs. Like, for example, there's a program for a band concert, and they're offering a sponsorship for you to have your logo inside of the pamphlet that they give people. That's going to be a really minimal exposure that person's going to have flipping through the pamphlet. They're probably going to throw it away after the event, or if there are kids in it, they might put it in a storage thing. But those probably aren't going to have a lot of, people aren't going to remember you a lot from being in those things. Or even like the yearbook ads. The people who are looking through the yearbooks are the kids.
Right.
You know, the parents look for their kid, and then that's it. So if the parents are who your target audience is, then doing the yearbook ads probably isn't the best investment. But the other thing that they get you on is when you do it once, they're going to remember next year.
They got you on the VIP list.
Every year. You did this last year. You know, can you do the same thing again? And just like those reoccurring charges on your bank account, it's really hard to say no after you've already done it before. So just remember the saying. We already had to fully commit our budget this year for our marketing and sponsorships. If you'd like to be considered next year, contact me at this point. And then if they do, then write them into the budget if you think it's worthwhile. But if not, then... And chances are they may not even follow up with you at the appropriate time because it's not top of mind for them anymore.
Right. So some of the low priority or sponsorships that you should avoid are celebrity or large-scale influencer sponsorships. These are very expensive with unclear return on investment, and they're better suited for large corporations with big marketing budgets.
And just to be clear, this ranking of things how to prioritize your sponsorship is considering that you have a small service-based business. If you have a product that is FabFitFun, then getting influencer sponsorships is the way to go, right? Because FabFitFun, The Bachelor, celebrities, that's the way to go. That's how that business grew tremendously. But if you're a small business, service-based business, which is really who the Miss Biz audience primarily is, then having those large-scale influencers is not going to be a good return on investment.
Yeah. Another one to avoid or is a low priority are your political campaign sponsorships. So this can be a little bit risky because it can alienate your potential customers, but it could also lead to any type of unwanted controversy. However, if you do want people to talk about you, then that would be another alternative. That would be a good method for that.
Yeah, sometimes raising controversy is a good thing. It just depends on what your personal preference is. But political campaigns are not business expenses. So I've contributed over the years to a number of judicial campaigns. And so, like the mayor of Oviedo, I've contributed to some, but they're not business expenses. So, you know, that's tough when you're giving money away and not being able to use it as a business expense. Also, it doesn't grow your business. I mean, I just have done it to try to help out the candidates that I thought would be good for the role they were pursuing. But it's not a good sponsorship or a good opportunity to grow your business, in my opinion.
Also, random social media influencers without clear return on investment. So this often lacks measurement or measurable impact for service-based businesses and can be unpredictable and costly. You also need to look at what the agreement is. So I have a client who does a lot of work with social media influencers and had this person film a bunch of videos with him so that we could invite that individual to collaborate, and gave this person free treatment. I'm pretty sure gave them free products, like whatever they wanted, and probably paid them too. Well, I was doing their social media marketing and I would invite this person to collaborate. They accepted one time and never again for any of the other footage. So this person just got thousands of dollars worth of treatments done for free and wasn't even fulfilling, all of the collaboration requests. But I'm not certain that there was ever like a written contract or an agreement written down via text message or email that clearly outlined what the obligations or responsibilities were. So,
yeah, that's a good point, that if you are pursuing social media influencers, to make sure there is a mutually understood agreement as to who's doing what.
Yeah.
And what each person's role is. Also is expensive sports or entertainment sponsorships. What comes to mind for me is we have the Orlando Magic here near us, and I have bought season tickets to the Orlando Magic for a few years, not this year, but in the past, and they would continually ask me to do sponsorships in which they would put my logo in the arena and things like that. But they were so expensive, so expensive, and I just couldn't see that the return on investment would be worth it. And I actually have a friend who did do the arena sponsorship, who got their name on all the things, and I believe it did not turn out to be a good return on investment for them. It makes you look like a big deal,
right? Because
you got your name on the arena or on the jumbotron, but does it actually make people pick up the phone and call you? I think there's a bit of a disconnect there.
Yeah.
It's just a logo, and the logo doesn't convey know, like, and trust.
And I think people are going to these events not thinking about work, not thinking about things that they need, essentially for entertainment, to get away from all of the responsibilities. So the last thing on their mind is probably going to be like, yeah, I really need to call this cleaning lady.
Right.
Let me take a picture of it.
Right.
So, yeah, that is a great point, because it can be kind of tempting, I guess, if you have the money and you're like, well, this would make a great impression, I should do it. But like you said, it's good to think about it from all different angles, because while it may look really good and super impressive, unless you're willing to lose that money, then it's probably not the best financial decision.
So just to kind of sum up what the prioritized sponsorships are, things that offer long-term brand visibility. Think about the banner. You put it up one time, it's there all year long. Second is aligning with your target market. Who's going to be seeing these things? Are they the people that you are wanting to connect to? Third is provide networking opportunities or direct leads. Does the sponsorship give you the opportunity to get business cards, get contact information for people, or is it just a logo amongst a bunch of other logos? And last, for things to prioritize, is it cost effective for your business size? What are the types of sponsorships you probably should decline?
Well, ones that are too expensive for the return on investment, ones that don't align with your brand values or your target audience, or if they are purely for exposure without strategic benefits, that's something that you should probably avoid.
So hopefully you found this beneficial. It's time we're still early in the year. pull out your bank statements, figure out those things that you can cut, and also keep in your back pocket this easy way to turn away people when they give you an opportunity to sponsor that your heart really would like to help everybody, but it's not always the best financial decision for your business.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.